All right, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Unnamed Show, dude. We got to figure that out.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll call it the Monday Night Hammer for now. You know what? We'll have a different name every week. That's great for branding. I don't know. You're the guy in school still. Ask your professor tomorrow. But week 2 in the books. We're here for Fantasy's Sake QC. Welcome. It's a messy week. Week 3 is going to be messy. We're here. We're gonna take you through everything that happened, the usage that matters, the signal and all the noise. Perhaps we've got some injury updates for you, and then we'll finish it off with a little bit of Green Bay Detroit talk. And I don't know, Mike. You say Aaron Rodgers loses this one, we start asking questions, but we'll get there. Anyway, starting off, Eli Mitchell, JaMychal Hasty, Trey Sermon, they're all hurt. Everybody's hurt.
They're following the footsteps of 49ers running backs of last year.
Kyle Shanahan, he opens up these massive holes you can drive a truck through. How are these people getting hurt? What's that? I don't get it.
Well, Trey Sermon nosedived himself into the ground and concussed himself. JaMychal Hasty suffered a high ankle sprain. He's as Kyle Shanahan put it, for sure, he's out this week. And Eli Mitchell was able to return to the game, so I'm going to tentatively expect he's going to be limited in practice, but he'll make his way out for week 3, and he'll have to lead the way because they don't have anyone else. They did bring in, I don't know if you caught this, they brought in Duke Johnson and Lamar Miller, just in case you wanted a little flashback to 2015. I'd expect one of them to be on this roster next week purely because someone has to.
Well, the thing is, kind of sifting through it, you nailed it. They said Eli Mitchell, you said day to day. That to me seems like, I think you got like a stinger or something. Like day to day is like, we'll kind of see what the pain's like. Whereas week to week is we're looking for like, how are you healing type stuff. So I think you'll see Eli be the guy. I mean, wheels up on Eli Mitchell if he's just going to, like, the whole running game's going to funnel through him because no one can stay healthy. But don't panic if you spend a lot on Eli Mitchell for Fab. I know I'm co-owning a team with a couple buddies, and they're hitting the panic button. We also have Sermon, though, and I do think he'll be back, too. It's just as long as he can get out there at some point.
Week 4.
Jamar Chase is a star. I mean, he's getting there on low volume. He's getting there on high volume. The people that bought the drop pass narrative, we're not gonna worry about that. But are we worried about Joe Burrow? Is he bad? Is he bad, Mike?
Is he bad is a very bold or blunt statement. I think Joe Burrow is a very talented quarterback who just suffers with a really terrible scheme. I think Zach Taylor's offense is just not getting it done. I think it's an unsustainable offense. It's one that's just old-fashioned. The running back's going to get 20 touches. He's not going to do much else. He's going to chuck it up to his wide receivers, and that's about it. I don't see anything I don't see any creativity. I don't think Joe Burrow's talents are being put to best use. So I think we're going to continue to see garbage time points that, T. Higgins caught a touchdown in the later bit of the game, and the Bengals made a run. The Bengals, it wasn't total garbage time, but they're going to be playing from behind. The game scripts will help Joe Burrow even when he struggles, and they'll help Jamar Chase, and they'll help Tyler Boyd, and they'll help T. Higgins. It's the future. So the future gets brighter in Cincinnati when Zach Taylor leaves town.
I think, like, if you're looking at this, I agree with what you said, but in the range of outcomes here is that Joe Burrow obliterated his knee, and
maybe needs a year to trust it some more.
If that's a good, like, so if that's a factor, your best case scenario is that he just needs to build trust in it. Similar, we had some idea about, like, Sutton was a little hesitant on his ACL, but I mean, he absolutely dominated. Teddy Bridgewater apparently can throw a deep contested ball. Hand up, I was wrong. Teddy two gloves looks great. Joe Burrow, though, I would just keep an eye on it. If it seems like, because it's reminding me a little bit of Carson Wentz, who I was dying.
That is a tough.
Everyone got the push.
To give to him.
He sprained both his ankles. But anyway, he's just a comedy of errors right now. But Carson Wentz had an MVP level season, tore his ACL at the end, and it seems as though he just isn't the same, like, roll it out, like the big bootleg type of quarterback that he used to be. Not saying Joe Burrow is that. I'm not a film guy, but film guys out there, if you can see some hesitation there, if you can see a little bit less of him kind of being mobile in the pocket, that's a big part of his game. At least that's what I'm told. So just keep an eye on that. But he has supported plenty of fantasy goodness from Cincinnati. But I just have written down on the show notes here, Kyler. My goodness.
He's the MVP through the first couple weeks of the season. It's without a doubt. There's nobody right now, with the exception of maybe like Patrick Mahomes just doing Patrick Mahomes things. There's nobody that can move around defenders as well as Kyler can. It's you can't get to him. Like, we're worried about him getting crushed and him being undersized. He can't get touched.
The thing is like, I think his offensive line is average, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't think his offensive line is great, but some of those, like, I don't know what it was, if like defenses have to drop so many people back because he's like running 4 wide receivers all over the place, and you got to cover Rondale Moore, who's faster than everybody. You got to cover AJ Green, who I don't think he's good, but I still think that he's good off the line, and you at least have to acknowledge that. DeAndre Hopkins is going to wear you down, and then you got Christian Kirk. It's a very, like, you got to account for all those guys, so they can't bring a lot in the rush. And when they do, Kyler Murray is like, I've never seen anything like that. Like, he's running backwards, like so much momentum going back, and he just whips it 45 yards down the field, and it's on.
He looks like a guy who could easily be playing baseball, and he has a ridiculous arm. And you just named 4 very talented, or 4 very capable wide receivers, if not great receivers, a mix of that there. And yet the guy of the day was tight end Max Williams. Max Williams was the tight end, I think 4 or 5 on the week. It was. Yeah. He was great out there. He wasn't doing anything special, but he was open, and Kyler gets him the ball.
So you just heard me go off on a bit of a football guy rant there. There were no numbers there. It's all feel, all eye test, because I was watching that game closely because of DFS. I'm not going to get into it. It was a humbling week. But it did seem like that Max Williams stuff. I didn't look at some of his usage numbers. As far as percent of snaps he played, percent of routes that he ran, his usage went down since last week. Max Williams kind of going off, I think, as a result of just a really crazy game environment. However, Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals are going to find themselves in many crazy game environments. They are going to be such a fun team to watch. Let's move out on, actually, same game, Rondale Moore. It's happening. He's having that steady rookie rise where the usage has increased from week 1 to week 2. He saw a target on 46% of his routes that he ran. What that means is that when he's not running a route on he's not playing 100% of the snaps like DeAndre Hopkins. He's not even playing as many snaps as Christian Kirk, who saw 63%, or AJ Green, who saw 79% of the snaps. He's playing at like a 61% snap rate. So he's cycling in on those 4 wide receiver sets, but he has a 46% target rate on those routes, which means when he's on the field, Kyler's looking his way because he knows he's most likely going to be open.
Yeah. And this is the difference between, and I'm not in love with Cliff Kingsbury as a coach, but this is the difference between Cliff Kingsbury and John Gruden or Jason Garrett. When you have a player like Rondale Moore, when you have a player like Henry Ruggs, when you have a player like Kadarius Toney, the way to get them to succeed is manufacture them touches. And Cliff Kingsbury has found a way to do that. That's what he's done. When Rondale Moore's on the field, he's going to find a way to get Rondale Moore the ball. And that's a testament to Rondale Moore's talent. I won't take anything away from there. Like I said, I don't think Cliff Kingsbury, some Sean McVay, up-and-coming guy. But this is he's going to be on the field. The Cardinals love throwing 4 wide receiver sets out there more than anyone in the league. They've led in that for the last 2 years. They play Jacksonville next week. If Rondale Moore's on your wire, you're going to pick him up and you can play him.
Yeah, he's going to see 5 to 8 targets a game, I think. Yep. And he's going to do a lot with them.
That's 16 yards a catch for 2 straight weeks now, at least.
Yeah. He puts that 70-yard bomb. I think I could have ran that one in. I know we were talking about that, but it's to get that wide open. I mean, unless it's a blown coverage, that takes talent. So I have had some conversations where we are getting into that early Tyreek Hill days where like he's a boom bust player, all that. But I mean, don't get me started on Rondale Moore.
Don't throw that name out there. Don't. Let's calm down. Let's calm down there.
Bye. buy while you still can.
Yeah, you heard
CMC
it here first. Yeah. Rondo Moore is Tyreek Hill.
In the sense that he just is you're getting a wide receiver 1-2 plus an RB 1-2 usage every single week. DJ Moore, wide receiver 1 season is incoming. The fact that both these names are here, both of them are returning value. Sam Darnold, is he good? Is it too early to say that he's good and Joe Burrow is bad?
Yes.
They're like the same age, basically.
Yes, it is. It is too early to say that. I'm the Sam Darnold truther of my friends, of the people, of everyone I know. It is too early to say that Sam Darnold is the answer in Carolina, but at the very least, we know Christian McCaffrey's the best at his position, or one of the best at his position, if you want to make that argument. We know DJ Moore has always had the talent. And it's nice to see DJ Moore getting his due. Because in the past, I mean, Robby Anderson is the story of the Panthers right now that we need to talk about, I think. Because Robby Anderson he's produced, kinda, but it's not what we were expecting. And that, I think, is what people are worrying about right now. What are you doing with Robby Anderson?
I think so that offense has kind of gone through some changes where last year it's almost like Robby Anderson's playing a different position. And it's almost like DJ Moore is playing a different position. And then you add CMC back into the mix, and that kind of changes the offense a little bit. Believe it or not, a lot of the targets that left when CMC got hurt kind of went to Robby Anderson. Like his ADOT was a lot lower. That's his average depth of target. They've kind of shifted Robby Anderson back into the burner, the downfield role a little bit more. His ADOT's up this year. He does have a good amount of air yards. And I think because of that's the type of receiver he was with the Jets with Darnold. So I think they're trying to have that connection be a thing, having Robby Anderson be the one to stretch the field. If you're hoping he kind of returns to that all levels of the field, high value fantasy guy, like think of him more like you thought of him pre last year. He's more boom bust. DJ Moore is going to be your possession receiver who can go deep, who can run after the catch. He's awesome. I mean, he's been awesome. You don't have a profile like him at 24 years old without being an elite star. So again, I think it's a combination of CMC, DJ Moore kind of breaking out before our eyes, and Terrace Marshall still demanding some targets from the slot. Robby Anderson's role is just a little bit more volatile. That's how I feel about him.
Yep. No, you hit it right there. I think McCaffrey's return is taking those low targets, and Robby Anderson is going back down the field, and that's a much more inconsistent role than we were banking on, or at least as I was kind of expecting.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got Houston and we have Dallas coming up for Robby Anderson. Just to quickly ask, are you going to line him up in those games? This is 9 targets through 2 weeks, 4 reception.
I haven't ran the numbers yet, but for DFS this week, Robby Anderson will most likely be on a lot of very good teams. Is all I'm saying. He's going to
line him up Thursday night.
Yeah. Throw him in your captain spot. Captain spot. Oh my. If you're playing the DraftKings Showdown slate, you can throw someone in your captain spot. But yeah, I mean, you just start. I mean, it depends on your team, but if you're between him, like the tiebreaker, it's Houston, right? And I mean, they've looked better than people thought so far, but I mean, it's
Davis Mills, Houston now.
Yeah, Davis Mills.
We'll get to that.
A couple guys we were wrong about coming into the season, even last week, let's say. Mike Evans is good. End of story. He's Brady's tutty guy. I mean, you drafted him knowing that you're going to get your duds, but he's also going to blow up. He's banged up a little bit of a weird cut. Nothing to worry about. They're going to monitor it. He kind of has those types of nagging injuries. This is the first one. Other guys we were wrong about coming in. Sterling Shepard was basically free. You could have picked him up last week on the waiver wire. He might even be on the waiver wire now because that was the Thursday night game. And some leagues will lock their waiver wire after that. Mike Williams, again, we were worried about his health. We were worried about this weird narrative. So this is the weird narrative of the year, I think, that we came into this season with that just caught hold and we just ran with it. Last year it was wide receivers switching teams narrative, DeAndre Hopkins fade. This year it was fade Mike Williams because he goes up for the ball and then falls too hard, so he gets injured often.
Yeah.
Which may or may not be a thing, but come on, people. We need to stop.
He did it this week. He was fine.
We need to stop running with that. The big change is he had a year where he had a lot of yards and no touchdowns, and a year where he had a lot of touchdowns and no yards. He's throwing it together now because he's the X receiver in Lombardi's offense, which is like the Michael Thomas role. So that's what you want. He's getting all kinds of great fantasy usage. I mean, don't forget, this guy's out of Clemson, big time recruit, top 10 pick, right? You probably got that.
Yep. No, he's just that good. It's that simple. And I've been saying, if you follow me at any point this offseason, I've been championing Mike Williams for years, and this is the year he's going to put together because, like you said, this is a 1,000-yard receiver. This is a 10-touchdown receiver. They just didn't come at the same time. Now he has Justin Herbert in his second year. He has Joe Lombardi. That's a fantastic coordinator, like you just said. Keenan Allen's underneath. Mike Williams is being used all over the field, and he can be. Hunter Henry's not there to take red zone targets. Jared Cook's not taking that role. He failed at that this week on a little fade. It's as simple as Mike Williams is just that good. Justin Herbert's that good. And unless he gets hurt, of which we're not going to predict that he injures his shoulder for landing too hard, because that's just – you can't predict that. That's not a predictable metric. Without that, he's going to be involved, and he's just too talented not to be a fantasy producer. This is a wide receiver one. This is a wide receiver one we're looking at right here.
You heard it here first, folks. Najee Harris, I'm not going to lie. I probably put my reputation as a fantasy content producer, if you want to call me that, on the fact that Najee Harris is going to have a big year. That was a little bit more like it. Still a little troubling, but a little bit more like it. He's getting insane usage. We're in the trust tree. We're in the trust tree right now.
Trust tree. Okay.
Ben's arm's done. I didn't want to admit it. I was kind of buying back on the he threw 1,000 balls in rehab last year, and that's why his arm looked bad.
He looked good in the preseason.
On these 30-yard passes. Is his arm done?
I don't think it's done is a relative term. It's not where it needs to be an NFL quarterback. If you want to say that's done, then it's done. But it's not Peyton Manning's noodle arm either, is my point.
We got
Peyton Manning's
Iron Mike from 814 from Central Pennsylvania here. He says Ben is done. Confirmed. I know who this is. He does not have inside sources. He's a Cowboys fan, so take it with a grain of salt. Ben's arm's done though. And the thing about it is that's okay for Najee Harris because he's getting like 10 targets a game now, which is insane.
Who it's not okay for is Chase Claypool. That's the issue. And Chase Claypool, and we've already seen it this season. Chase Claypool will grab a ball and then either run with it or he'll just grab it 20 yards downfield and he'll make plays that no person has the right to make. But
yeah, he'll get there.
But if he doesn't get the targets downfield where he should, that's why he's at 10 points for the last 2 weeks. It's not where it needs to be. He's not ripping off the 40, 50-yard touchdown that he could because he's running back for the ball to contest to catch it. Yeah.
Ben's throwing a couple hospital balls up there for him. Thoughts and prayers to Chase Claypool. But yeah, okay. So lots of injuries. I mean, so one way to kind of get ahead of the field is staying up to date on all this injury stuff. We're just going to run through real quick the ones that we kind of have a little bit more information on. And if we don't mention someone, it probably means that we don't know yet, and it's kind of like they're waiting to see, to get an X-ray back or an MRI or something. But Tyrod Taylor, we're going to see Davis Mills for a while, 3 to 4 weeks. Jarvis Landry, we're not going to see him for another 3 to 4 weeks, which is a shame. It was a sprained knee, sprained MCL. He's missed one game since 2014, and of course, when I play him in DFS is when he decides to get injured. But we're not going to talk about my teams. We're going to talk about your teams. Yeah. Jermichael Hasty, again, another one of those, a few weeks. Not to expect him back. He's dealing with a more long-term injury. Visca's shoulder, what do you got on him?
So Visca's shoulder was a little bit of a weird one because he was kind of in and out of the game. they're expecting him to still be good to go next week. So positive vibes early in the week. I'd expect him to be limited throughout practice, and then they throw him out there because they're going to need him against Arizona. Whether you play him against Arizona is another discussion. It's that he's a player. I saw people saying you could cut Visca on Twitter. He's still seen 16 targets through 2 weeks is a pretty good metric. The Jaguars aren't going to stop throwing the ball. I'm holding him because I don't know if I have the strength to play him against Arizona, but if he plays well, then I can line him up against Cincinnati and Tennessee for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Hold on to Visca. Don't drop him. We're not ready. So the little rule I follow is normally ADP statistically is pretty you can't really tell if we were wrong on someone from an ADP perspective until week 4. So dropping someone before week 4 that you drafted in the top 10 to 12 rounds with Visca is not a good idea. But after 4 weeks, if his targets start going down, that probably means that he's banged up and he's not earning that target. He's not seeing the field as much.
They're just low value targets right now. That's the issue. But he's a yards after catch guy that can quickly turn around if he just starts breaking off some plays. But if he doesn't, if he catches 2 balls for -3 yards again, you send him to the wire. But I'd hold him for another week.
Not to be uncouth, but we're going to have some weird Urban Meyer health thing, quote unquote, I think, before the end of the season, because I do not think that he's cut out for the NFL.
You're saying he's gonna cop out of Jacksonville?
Yeah. He either does that or gets fired.
I don't know. He said he's very committed to turning this franchise around.
Well, he's not making a lot of great decisions.
No, he's not.
Carlos Hyde touches over Laviska Shenault targets. Deontay Johnson, what do you got on him?
So Deontay, last play of the game in a 9-point. I don't know if we're 9-point game.
We're tilting.
It's a 9-point game. I'm not sure why we run a play with 5 seconds left. And by we, I mean the Steelers, just saying. I'm not sure why the Steelers would run a play with 5 seconds left, but they decided to. Deontay Johnson injured his leg. Thankfully, it is not expected to be a major injury. It's not supposed to be long-term. We'll see if he's out there for this week. I think they're tentatively hoping for him to be out there this week, based on reports I've seen around the league. At the very least, it shouldn't be long-term. If he misses time, it should only be a week.
Yeah. Sharp thing to do on your waiver wires is James Washington would slot right in, get a lot more usage. And I honestly think that he would see a lot more snaps on a lot of other teams. I don't think Washington is bad. So he's going to be on everyone's waiver wire. Scoop him up if you have Deontay Johnson and some insurance. That one's for free, kids. I'll have a waiver article out tomorrow. That's a hell of a plug, Mike. Green Bay versus Detroit. Tell us about your buddy Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, so my buddy Aaron Rodgers looked last week like he should have just tried to get that Jeopardy job a little bit more. And I think he might be wanting to, but this is a big game for him. This is a huge game. This is like I'm trying to think of an analogy, but this is like going to Thanksgiving dinner and you're expecting to see apple pie on the table. And if apple pie isn't there, you're going to be a little bit worried. And I can't believe I just came up with that. That was very out of pocket. But
here's what the Thanksgiving conference before the autumnal equinox, which is a bold move, but I respect it.
I was thinking when I think of Green Bay, Detroit, I still think of Thanksgiving, and that's what's coming up there.
That's actually very fair.
Yeah, that's why I thought of it. This is a big game. We look at this. This is Monday Night Football. It's a nice game. We're going to tune in. This is a telling game for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers makes a tradition, just like Thanksgiving, to rip the Lions apart. And if he does not do that, I believe correct me if I'm wrong, they're at home, aren't they?
Keep talking.
I'll keep talking. Yes, they are at home. If Aaron Rodgers does not control this game against Detroit in Lambeau, we need to be pushing the red button. We need to be worried because this Lions defense is not good. They were just destroyed last week. They lost Jeff Okudah for some time. They have not gotten any pieces back because this is not a talented football team. This is a team with grit, and they will try to stay in the game. But this is not a team that should be hanging with Devontae Adams or Aaron Jones or Aaron Rodgers if this is relatively close to the team that we saw last year. So if the Packers don't put up 30 points this week, I'm going to be a little bit surprised. If they don't put up 20, I'm going to be incredibly concerned.
Okay. It's definitely fair. It's stern. It's very stern, but it's definitely fair. I think that you would need to see Big Ben level ducks when he throws down the field to really hit the panic button. If I'm a Packers fan or I drafted Aaron Rodgers in fantasy football, couldn't be me. But anyway, I just don't. I just don't see a scenario where what you're saying happens, because last week was bad. It was more of like we got smacked in the face early with 15 play drives by the Saints that sucked all the air out of our team's enthusiasm, and those things happen. I think you're going to see angry Aaron, but I also see I'm not going to lie. I laughed at Dan Campbell when he had his press conference with like biting kneecaps.
Yep.
But I think he's created a team full of lunatics, and I'm here for it. That team, I think TJ Hawkinson is kind of like the cutoff jean shorts, like Code Red Mountain Dew. I'm just completely like putting all this on him. I have no idea what kind of person he's like, but I feel like everybody on that team like wears camo snapbacks and cargo shorts and like choose Copenhagen. And I think that the NFL needs a team like that.
They do. And they'll get probably a taunting call or two. But
yeah, that was there was no substance to any of that. But I mean,
I'll say this. I'm like I said, I'm expecting Aaron Rodgers to bounce back. I don't think he's lost it. But if he doesn't show up this week, because I'm not expecting to see like if he's not right, I'm not expecting this to be an angry Aaron Rodgers thing. I don't think he's angry. I think he's tired. I think he's just sick of it. I think he's lost it mentally a little bit instead of like he normally sits there, stews in silence in the offseason and is just like, okay, you're going to do that? Okay, my turn. And then he goes off. But instead, he went on every talk show in America and talked about how tired he was with the Green Bay Packers. And it looks on the field. And maybe it's a situation where he wasn't prepared and it takes a couple weeks to shake off some rust. That's very possible. And then maybe I'd be wrong to press the panic button. But I worry that he's just not – football isn't his number one priority anymore. I worry that he needs a change of location to spark that again. I don't –
in Denver anymore. He lost it. You got Wally pipped in Denver. Teddy Bridgewater's the future there.
Oh, yeah. Teddy Bridgewater's the future in Denver. Yeah, you heard it here. Nick Carroll. He's got that. But he welcome Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers can get a nice fresh start here in Pittsburgh, and it's re-spark that maybe. But this is an important game, and I'm confidently taking the Green Bay Packers spread type of thing. I'm taking them to cover 11.5. I think the Packers take care of them. I do.
But I actually might want the other side of that. That's a lot of points for a scrappy team, but they're going to get blown out. They're going to get absolutely blown out.
And yeah, I'm expecting them to. I'm expecting Aaron Jones to have a nice day. I'm expecting Devontae Adams to have a nice day. I expect Marquez Valdes-Scantling to have a nice day. I'm expecting Aaron Rodgers to have a nice day.
Okay. We would be remiss if we forgot to mention the main storyline of this game, which is Jamal Williams' revenge game. The future of the Detroit Lions, Jamal Williams' revenge game, coming back to Lambeau Field. If you haven't already, if you need a little pick-me-up after a rough day, hand up. Being a middle school science teacher today was potentially one of the worst things. Not an easy day for Mr. Gural over here, but anyway, if you need a pick-me-up, just go Google Jamal Williams interview clips.
He's fantastic.
He is a special individual, I'll tell you that. He has a very unique outlook on the world, and he's a lot of fun. So I'll be rooting for Jamal Williams tonight. I will also be rooting for less than 8 points from the Packers defense and a big night out of Andre Swift and TJ Hawkinson, because when you can stack the Lions on your fantasy football teams, you have to do it, right, Mike?
No. The one thing I want to do all the time is play Amon-Ra. You know what you should do on the topic of that fantastic advice by Nick Roll of playing as many Lions as you can. We have the real storyline in this game. You're saying Jamal Williams revenge game. No. It's a family tie. We got Equanimeous St. Brown versus Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, if you're not lining each of them up in your DFS lineup, then you're playing fantasy football wrong.
You have to catching. If you play
this is 200 yards combined.
Wow.
This is a lock for me. So Equinemius got promoted from the practice squad just for this game.
I cannot believe that. That is something. I don't know how I missed that storyline, but that's why you tune
It was
into.
late.
That's why you
It was
tune
late.
into the unnamed show that we're calling the Monday Night Hammer for now.
Monday Night Hammer.
Yeah, for Fantasy's Sake QC, presented by the Mobile Party Experience. Take them to your tailgates. We are Penn State, by the way. I know Iron Mike, if you're still watching, I know you're fired up about that win against Auburn this weekend. But we're going to head out, go watch the game. We're going to hit the reset button, and we're going to start panicking when Aaron Rodgers gets blown out at Lambeau Field by the Lions. So for Michael Sicoli, that's at Michael__Sicoli. I am Nick Garral. You can find me on Twitter at @RunTheSims, run_the_Sims. You can follow our parent site for Fantasy's Sake QC at FFSQC. Almost messed it up.
You got it.
And let's have a good week 3, folks. Stay safe out there. We'll see you later.
Good luck on your waivers. Have a good one.